Hello, Wilders. Thank you for coming to my 2 bits. I'm your host, BELSHE Bits. I'm one of the leading content creators for Wilder World, a longtime fan, and a huge supporter of the team and everything that they're doing. I appreciate everyone being here today. We're going to kind of talk about Wilder World and how it's built different throughout the show, but I just want to make sure everyone knows that this is going to be recorded. I want to make sure that people know, because sometimes people don't feel comfortable being recorded, but I would like to be able to create this for more content and be able to get it out to those that aren't able to make it, since they're probably sleeping in other parts of the world. So just be aware of that. But I would love for people to be able to jump in whenever they want and join the conversation. I'm going to kind of be switching things up. I'm kind of trying to find a flow of how I do things. I've made kind of a PowerPoint presentation of just kind of going through things, but I don't want that to scare you from jumping in. If you do, please just say your name, because currently the way I have it set up, I won't be able to see who is speaking to me. So please just let me know who it is and join the conversation whenever you'd like. But I'd love your support. I'd love for you to follow me on BELSHE at BELSHE Bits on X, as well as on YouTube if you haven't. I also post content on TikTok and Instagram with shorts and different content there. So if those are your preferred, you can find me at BELSHE Bits on any one of those platforms as well. But I'm really excited to get into this conversation. I spent a couple times, I tried to figure out exactly what I wanted to bring to you guys and how I could bring some value to this conversation. There's a lot happening since the last time I had Long Sleeves on here and we had a conversation about Devlog 10 and where we started at the beginning of the year with Act 1. And just in this last month, I think there's been a lot of developments within Wilder World and the progress that they're making. It really seems like we're going to end on a really awesome note by the end of this year. And so I'm just really excited to kind of get going. But I found this quote by Elon Musk that I really liked. It says, I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. And someone like Elon Musk, who has created amazing businesses, I feel like does a lot of really awesome things throughout the world. I think this is really interesting to kind of think about where this comes from, because here we are, I think at a verge of a new precipice in the world of going into much larger technologies like AI, as well as actual metaverses being built and expanding on the use cases of the internet and technology and just human connection and all together. And someone as myself, who I feel extremely ordinary, a quote like this really gives me a lot of hope that even my efforts could become extraordinary at some time. I personally think our support of Wilder World and MEOW Chain and Zero are supporting extraordinary advancements in the way that these blockchain technologies and Web3 is utilized, and the efforts to push, freedom in ownership, freedom in expression. And so I think it's really important to understand not only the monetary benefits that maybe investing in these companies can be, but also to keep in mind, what we're supporting and why we're supporting it and the efforts that we go into with that. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that with some team members, community members, and top investors throughout the community here in a bit. But I wanted to highlight something I'd like to do in each one of my shows is kind of highlight a community member. And the community member that I chose to highlight over the last month is Rockin' Rebel. I don't know if he's in the audience right now, but he just purchased the Trinity not too long ago. And what I loved is that he came into the community and was a great asset to the community from the start. He was extremely kind. He was excited. He asked questions and interacted really well with a lot of the members of the community. And so I really appreciated how he just really fit into the community. And I had a great conversation with him, and I was really excited for him to join the community and be a Trinity holder and be excited for his opportunity to be able to purchase a land parcel when it becomes available. So I just wanted to kind of highlight him, and I just wanted to call out to the rest of the community. I would love for you to kind of DM me at any point and, inform me of like individuals that really show that wilder spirit that we talk about, of kind of going the extra mile to be a great community member and help out. So if you ever see that, notice that, I would love for you to reach out and just let me know, and I'd love to highlight them in my next show. So moving on, just as a reminder, I would love for you to just jump into the conversation anytime you want to say something. This isn't just about me talking, though I will kind of lead a conversation. But I would love for you to just jump in and just say, "Hey, BELSHE," and say your name and cut me off at any point, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. So I just want to make sure that's known. And just remember that this is being recorded, and but I would love for you to feel comfortable in doing so. So to kind of start off, I went around the community and started asking some team members, top investors within the community, as well as community leaders, 3 different questions. And I kind of gathered those and split them up. And so part that would be the part 1. And so the first question I kind of asked around was, what product is Wilder World offering that stands out compared to other similar products? I wanted to ask this because often we just are worried about the whens, right? Like when this, when that, and we talk about marketing, when's marketing, when listing. And something we constantly hear from the team is we're focused on the product. And so I wanted to ask this question to some of the individuals throughout the community. And so one of my favorites was Eris, who is one of the leads over the Wilder Worlds team. He said, "Yes, we create a Web3 open world. Yes, we are making crazy graphics and advanced gameplay. Yes, we work on all of this and more. But most importantly, we create a place where community can prosper and shine. True, decentralized digital nation. This is the goal. Value of token, digital assets. Enjoyment is a given, but means nothing if the community cannot express themselves. In an environment that most of the dev teams are closed behind sealed doors for years, we keep having one-on-one interactions with our community, and we are lucky to have such a supportive community." And I think this is crucial, right? I do love this aspect about the team and the devlogs and this building and open. I can't even imagine how difficult it is to be constantly scrutinized over every small detail and to kind of be nitpicked in many ways. But I feel like the team has really showed up and really has handled some of these concerns in great ways and has allowed people to express themselves and their concerns, right? There is individuals that were concerned when it was announced that the wheels were going to have like an update, and they were worried about how that would affect their investment and the reason why they invested. When the first game came out, right, it was first in alpha, and there was a lot of things that needed to be updated and fixed, but the team listened to the community and they daily interact with the community. And so I think this can, when done right, and when both community and team come together with the same vision and the same goal to create a great product, this really adds to the value of the project. And that's something that I really feel like gets overlooked often, is that value of how working together can really build something right if the community can have a little bit of patience, and the team can kind of take ownership and accountability for maybe when they do something wrong or when they just need more time to develop it in a direction that they need. But I love how he talks about, not only value in the token, in the digital assets, but also in the enjoyment that an individual has in utilizing these products. And so I really liked this kind of insight from Eris, and I appreciate him taking the time to answer my question. The next answer kind of comes from Crisp. Crisp is a top investor. I've had some interactions with him quite a bit over the years, and I've gotten to get to know him a little bit more on a below surface level, a little bit deeper, and kind of understand where he's coming from as an investor, why he's here, who he is as an individual. I wouldn't say extremely well, but pretty well. And so when I read this quote from him, I know he's very genuine in this response. But he says, Wilder World has consistently added high quality products. They are not a project focused on instant gratification for followers or for the project themselves. Clearly, they are focused on one thing and one thing only: developing a product that is second to none, all the while resisting any urge to put out unobtainable hype to draw people in for nothing. This is not only the best project in Web3, but one that does so staying true to their base. And as one of the top investors, I don't know if you know Crisp's collection, he could have many more assets, but he's chosen to go kind of a rarity route where he has some really unique high-end assets across the board, from wheels to Wapes to gens to all the other assets that you can get your hands on. He has some of the more rare collection. And so when he talks about value and seeing that within Wilder World, not only just in the product, but also in the team, and to be able to say, this is the best project in Web3, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the extent of his research has been, but he really has taken the time to make sure that the investment he's made really comes from a real place of confidence within the team. And so I really give it to Chris for kind of taking that route where he could have a lot more assets and it could be more about quantity, but he's kind of taken this quality route. And it feels like that's like true to his form. And so when he talks about the quality of the team and the quality of the project, I think that comes from a very genuine, true place. And I really do you'll hear there's other community members that talk about how Wilder World doesn't really focus on hype. And in return, there isn't a ton of FUD. Like, we've had FUD, right? There's been individuals that have had concerns. They've come in, they've expressed those concerns, some of them very publicly, some of them in some ways openly, and other projects, talking to about. But for the most part, I feel like the community has responded with some class. The team has responded with some class. There's been some rubbing back and forth. I mean, that's to be given in this space for sure, given where, the kind of the degens that we all deal with. But I think for the most part, we have a great community and a great team that tries to keep their eye on the ball, and they allow people to have their opinions and allow people that, because I kind of see it this way, right? You can have criticism. Like, when people truly have critiques about the projects, things that they really feel like could get better, I think that's okay. I think that should be welcomed. I think we should be open to that. But when people just come in with baseless claims and they're just nasty and they're rude and they say things that are untrue, or they really press because they really want to kind of corner a team member or a community member into saying something that they almost like a gotcha, right? Like, they're trying to get a gotcha, like, oh, I gotcha, like, you said the thing or you did the thing and now gotcha, see, and really try to bring the worst out in people. Like, that's what I personally can't stand. But if you come in and you have like and like true concerns and some critiques and things that like don't add up, and ask questions, and you're open, but yet you are able to express yourself and articulate yourself, I actually really appreciate those individuals. I actually tend to really grow and learn from each one of these individuals that have critiques, because sometimes they bring up things I just haven't thought of. And it allows me to go do my own research in what they're saying, to kind of find out for myself, like, where do I stand on this? Like, this could be true. Maybe I should be a little bit more concerned, or not concerned, but maybe ask some other questions and kind of find out answers for myself. And so I've kind of appreciated that about the community, and I appreciate that the team allows there to be room to critique. And you know what? The crazy thing is now we have these burning questions that anyone can come in and really push to want to know an answer. And all it takes is the next devlog for like those answers to be given. And maybe they're not the answers you want, but at least the team's taken the time and the effort to respond to them and care enough about, your concern to be able to ask the question. So those are just some points I like to, focus on. I'm typically a more positive individual, but I think in terms of logically too, and so I try not to put emotion into it like sometimes people do when they feel like they've been burned because the market's in a down. But the next response is from XVS, another top investor in the community, and I think he had another great response to this. He says, the pace of development we had since Devlog 0, we've got exponential progress since then on the racing experience, and we had no mention on the shooter at all. And then he continues on saying, fast forward to Devlog 10, and the shooter footage we got feels much better than some of the other Web3 FPS-centric projects like Shrapnel. Now, Shrapnel, I think, is doing a great job, and I really don't believe that what XVS is saying is that Shrapnel isn't going to be successful and isn't doing a good job. But he's saying, man, look at from Devlog 0 back just before, I believe, the first of the year to now, the exponential growth that we've seen from the racing game. And now we hear about the shooter and the mining's in development, and they're working towards open world. Just in this 1 year of development, the team has done a really great job. And that's what he's really talking about here, is that exponential progress in where, in his feelings that, the kind of aesthetic feel and the more polished look kind of feels better in that way from what we understand and what we're seeing. But obviously, the proof will be in the pudding when we actually are able to get our hands on, and FPS being such a beloved genre of gaming, we're going to have a lot of critiques, right? This is something that the team is going to have to get right. So hopefully in the beginning, there'll be some forgiveness, some patience as they improve and polish and do a good job. But from the looks of it, they're going to be coming out at a really good starting place, and it will really help get it to where it needs to be to compete in a extremely competitive market. If there's any game mode market that is extremely competitive, it's going to be FPS. And so I know a lot of FPS fans are really looking forward to getting their hands on this game, to be able to give true feedback and express to the team where they can polish things up and improve things and what they would like to see from it. But I think a lot of people are excited. I mean, a lot of people could see what they're seeing and already be discrediting it. And it seems like a lot of people are excited about the game. And I know XVS is one of them, and he's excited about the development that he's seen. The next one is from John. He is the lead over at the Avatar team. And he says, honestly, for me, it is the sheer amount of quality content we show, and for the amount of time we have been doing this, is just too easy to take for granted. It shows just how much work we do in the right direction and the sheer talent and personal investment to the project the team has on all sides. We are so open with the community, it's crazy for me to still believe, but so refreshing at the same time. The downside is we show so much huge content, it can be overlooked how big of a thing it really is. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, already, I feel like just yesterday, Devlog 10 came out, and now we're salivating at the mouth for Devlog 11. Maybe it'll be released during the show. I'm not sure, but I know a lot of us are really excited because there is so much that has been announced, being worked on, that we get to see this growth from not just one aspect. Before, we didn't have anything tangible, right? It was just a bunch of words on a page about promises. Now we have multiple tangible things. We get our hands on Zero Messenger, we get our hands on World Domains, we get our hands on the racing game. Now we're seeing more visual development when it comes to FPS. We have these promises of mining coming out. And so it's really interesting to see where we're at right now. And I think we do take for granted. We're constantly, because of our excitement, right? And because our belief, and because many of us are highly invested, we can often get lost in just wanting to know the next thing, right? And wanting to get to that point. And we forget that in order to create a quality product, it takes some time. And though we have 100 plus individuals working on all of this, it still takes time to create something great, something amazing, something lasting, a legacy that can be left behind, something that truly speaks to the amount of time that many of us have put in to supporting this team, the amount of time that the team has put in just creating it. I think we can take it for granted. I know I've taken it for granted, the sheer amount. I think it's what separates Wilder World from most projects. I think the best thing they've ever done was to create a structure around the way they communicate with the zines, or the zines, sorry, the zines, and the way that content is shared with the community. Often we want more. We want to see more. We want to see where they've improved. We want to see what they're developing. We want to see what's new. We want to see what we haven't even thought of. We want to see how the economy is improving. We want to see where we're at with open world. We just want these dreams that we've all had and imagined for ourselves to become a reality. I just think maybe we should take a little bit more time to have some gratitude for the huge amount of effort and the willingness for them to do uncomfortable things like develop in front of everyone. Often they could just be busting their butts. They could be super excited about it. And it's almost like no one's taken time to appreciate. It's like walking through an art gallery and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And no one really takes the moment to stop and take a look. You know, we live in this like high-paced world of like even memes, right? We live in a meme culture where like everything can become a meme. I heard this really great analogy. You know, it took forever for the Mona Lisa to become a meme, but the recent Donald Trump fist in the air from his attempted assassination was a meme within moments. Everything is created into a meme in such a quick pace amount of time that I often think, from like me personally, that sometimes the appreciation of what is gets overlooked because we're already looking for the next thing. And so I think from John, who has been working incredibly hard on the Avatar project, he really hopes that people can really soak in the magnitude of their creation and appreciate it for what it is. So appreciate John reaching out and sharing his thoughts with us. The next question that I asked was, what is the greatest value Wilder World provides? I thought this was a great question, mostly because often we can think about just the token, right? Is the token up? Why isn't the token up? Why is the token down? Where's marketing and all the things that every amount of value is attached strictly to if the token goes up or down. And that's where people put a lot of value. And I think there's much more value to the project than just that. And so I was interested in how people would respond. And so the first individual that kind of spoke to this was from my good friend Ever, who is a great, I apologize, I did not edit underneath, but he's a top investor within the community, and he is a great individual that has tested out the product and not only invested in it, but he's incredibly kind. If you just do one race with Ever, you know that he's extremely kind. He has no malice. He really likes to just have fun. He likes to improve his own skill, and he really does care about the Wilder World project. And I'll be honest, I didn't realize how big of an investor he was within the community until we got into the Odyssey. And I was like, dang, he's up on that list. Look at Ever. I was like, that's awesome. And so it was incredible to see him as such a good individual and a top investor. I think very highly of Ever. And so I appreciate him answering this. And he just simply says, the greatest value Wilder World provides is first and foremost the community, followed by the structure of the Genesis assets and the Trinity rewards. I couldn't agree more with him. I would add in here the team as well. But the greatest value Wilder World provides is first and foremost the community. I have been in a multitude of different communities. Many of you out in the audience, we've met in other communities before coming to Wilder World and kind of forming a more true friendship here. But there is just something different about the community within Wilder World. Now, I know you find pieces of like what the Wilder World community has in all communities, right? There's great friendship. There's extremely kind people. There's passionate people. There's a lot of good that is found in all of the communities. But I personally do believe that we just are extra. We're extra in how we try to embody the Wilder spirit, as we call it. We try to embody kindness, open-mindedness, protecting the little guy while appreciating, top investors, kind of holding the team accountable while also forgiving and being patient. There's just an embodiment in there. And I think Gandalf will speak to this, but like attracts like. And because this is the culture top down, when people come in, they see that this is a great place that you can be authentic to yourself, but we're also hold each other accountable to be mindful of others, to be kind, to be supportive, to be, I find there's incredibly intelligent people here in all facets of life, from whatever profession, just name a profession, and there is a very intelligent individual here that is a professional in their own right within that industry. And so I find that to be extremely refreshing, that I'm not only learning the technologies that are advancing within Wilder World, but I've learned a lot from other people in the professions in their life and their intelligence and the things that they share. And I find that to be of utmost value. And not every amount of value is monetarily. Some of it is through the networking and the relationships that you build. And I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate that Ever brought that up. The second port comes from Gandalf. Gandalf sent me quite a message, and I broke it down in some of the key points that he said. But I really had a great affection for Gandalf. He has also been a great leader of kindness, of openness, helping people navigate through economic things. He's a boomer like me. I find us to be somewhat like-minded in many ways. And I'll be honest, I think my time with Gandalf solidified when he put on this like event where we had to answer these quests, and I was like super late to the project, to the thing, and I was like, I don't have a chance to win this thing, and I just joined in, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to support him. I like to try to answer riddles and to figure things out, and so I took the time to kind of go through, and I ended up winning. I was like so surprised, and I got this really cool NFT out of it. I think I won some wild at the same time and whatnot, but the encouragement I got from him and the time that we did it, it just kind of connected me with Gandalf in a while. So I have a lot of respect for the things that he says. I think he's wise, like his name would demonstrate. But he says, I think I could mention two things here, and that would be the quality of the leadership and the quality of the community. It is because the founders of Wilder World have been intelligent and accepting to learn and redesign their vision, which is a very good quality. As far as the community, he says, like attracts like. Communities where you actually, sorry, whoever that is, can you mute your mic? Sorry. Communities where you actually like being there because it seems that you might actually learn different things on various topics, which was similar to what I was just talking about. And then he goes on to talk about the focus. He says there isn't much FUD about Wilder World, even with the tokenomics. There are discussions about the price and crypto, but there is none of the typical ape FUDing happening. The reason why this is happening is because the team is focused on their goals and they don't let distractions sway themselves away from their focus. And I think that is an incredibly key comment from Gandalf, that despite concerns and worries, the team is okay to adjust and shift and take accountability, but they stay on their vision. Their vision is to create and realize an actual metaverse that is decentralized, safe, and where the sovereignty is with the individual, that they get to have ownership, that the ownership isn't under one entity, but that it is shared amongst all those participating within the project. And they are really trying to make that a reality, and not just in word, but in an action. And so when they partner with who they partner with, and they take the efforts to do it, like they do it strategically in a way to actually solve problems and actually do the thing that needs to be done. Because often teams and projects can get lost in the need to satisfy the community when all they're saying is win, list, and it becomes more of a greedy focus instead of a purpose focus. And so I really like that Gandalf kind of highlights the purpose focus being then supported by the community and the team. And I think everyone can kind of start, as I'm like reading these comments, that like this common thread of community, leadership, and focus or vision. And I think it's really important to understand, like, those are key principles to have in any successful business. And so I really like that Gandalf continues to speak to these points and to talk about the importance of leadership, community, and focus. So our next comment comes from Spicy. He is also a top investor. I've kind of gotten to know him a little bit more this year as I've just kind of listened to his comments and hear him talk to some of the other community members, and listen to his concerns as different choices have been made when different information comes out. And so when I reached out to him to get his take on this question, I really liked how in depth he shared his thoughts on the matter. So he says, the wide range of possibilities is what I think makes Wilder World truly unique. As it stands, big gaming studios are in control of any assets their users purchase in game. Once purchased, users are not able to trade their assets, sell, or monetize on it. Worse yet, when a new version of the game is released, they'll have to purchase all new assets as the previous version's assets don't transfer over. Wilder World is creating a self-sustaining ecosystem where users get rewarded for interacting within the world. I believe people will be able to monetize off their passions if they so choose so. The decentralized nature and complete ownership of their in-world assets gives the power back to the people. No longer are big gaming studios going to be able to render users' purchases or purchased assets worthless. This powerful shift will bring forth a new digital economy that will burst with opportunities for users. And there is so much here, but I love what he says with giving power back to the people, and as well as that studios are not going to be able to render users' purchased assets worthless. I think that is big, right? Like right now, I love talking with Long Sleeves because he's very bold and blunt when it comes to the gaming community. I've been kind of leaning in on his experience and what he understands about the gaming community because I view things differently than the gaming community, but I think it's important to understand where they're coming from and what's important to them. And first and foremost, like they don't care about this stuff to be at the start, right? Like they will care about it if the game is fun, if it's engaging, if it's something that they like to dump hours into, they will naturally want to dive into these things. But it's first, the game has to be fun. They have to want to put hours in, and they're going to want to grind and level up and do the things that the games offer before these things really become of importance to them. And something that I didn't even consider because I came in more as an investor and as someone who loves technology more than like forget about all those things. I just want to play and have a fun game. And so I think that's just an important aspect that a lot of people that say when kind of forget, and where the team is leaning more into, especially lately, in creating great products that people enjoy, that they want to spend time with, that have everything that Web 2 has to offer, and then some, right? Like it's you have to do what they're doing because it's a proven success, but Web 3 then can add on to those benefits, which are ownership of your assets and being able to utilize and monetize off of that as you wish. Something that is more difficult outside of streaming and sharing your content and different things like that. You can monetize yourself through a game and those types of ways. But I think Web3 will open up new ways to be able to monetize, to have ownership, and to build business within a gaming environment. And so I think we really do need to have both things in mind. We want to add to what's already a successful, but we also have to forget we can't ignore, like we can't just think because you can make money that people want to spend the time to make money in the way that Wilder World is offering. And so I think it's really interesting to see that dichotomy between the two, because it's an important aspect to consider both things and to take a step back and kind of look at both worlds and go, okay, how do we kind of blend these two together where both are happy? There's just, if you look throughout the Wilder World community, there's not a ton of gamers. There's people that enjoy games, but I wouldn't say there's a ton of gamers. I think there's more gamers coming in, And I love to see that. And I think we're going to attract more gamers when it comes to the FPS. But we need both, right? We need both sides to educate both sides. And that's how we're going to grow as a product, how we're going to grow as a community, how we're going to grow as leadership and leading in this space. Is it's not about discounting one group or the other, but coming together and building something spectacular and something amazing. And I think that's what Spicy is talking about here, in the underlining of one side, and how we can add that additional benefit to gamers with a really great game. The third and final question that I asked was, what do you feel Wilders should be paying more attention to but aren't? And before I get into this, I know Shiny's going to put in a code. And so I think he's going to put it in the comment section, messaging section there in Discord. So look for that code from Shiny and be able to put it in the Odyssey to be able to get some more points. I really appreciate everyone that's shown up to support me in this second episode. And but I'm glad that you're able to get benefit and other value from it through the community and through the team, and participating and getting some more of those shards that we all love, to be able to get more of that pool. But to say this question again, what do you feel Wilders should be paying more attention to but aren't? The first answer simply comes from the top investor in the Wilder World community, who is just stacking up those W shards like a madman, and well deserved, because I've been able to get to know Trap over the last few months, and he has reached out to me on multiple occasions to express his support and appreciation for the content I create, for the time I put in, and for what I do for the community. And he is someone who is bold. Sometimes he puts people in their place that are negative throughout the community, but he is extremely kind. He is someone who definitely is mindful of so many people. He's kind of a quiet soul, and I really appreciate how he supports the project, not only in monetary ways, but also in leadership and community, and those making an effort throughout the community to support the project, the other community leaders. But here he says, the aspect of Wilder World that people should be paying attention to that aren't, the integration with Polygon, Celestia, and Metagravity. I actually really love that someone brought this up, because this has been one of my focuses that I feel like gets completely undervalued, because it's not flashy. It's just not a flashy thing. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, layer 2 network with continuity and stuff. Like, yeah, great, okay. Yeah, just make it happen, right? It's like the technology behind the internet that none of us really even think about or care about. We just want it to work. That's what these companies will help provide, is these three are creating a network called, MEOW chain, which will make everything that Wilder World does possible. At a gasless, with gasless transactions, something that can expand and have the continuity that we need, right? They did the 100+ vehicle test a few months ago. I know I had a great time. I think it was Super and long sleeves. We did Age of Chaos, which is the Metagravity's game that they're creating. And we had a blast. I mean, there were glitches. There were some things that were kind of off, but we had a really good time going around and swinging, swords and battling each other, and just kind of having a good time testing this continuity and having more people available on one server. and helping this development like move forward. And I'm sure there's been a lot more tests that we don't know about, because I know Star Atlas did a test. It looks like they were doing a test with the racing game. They've done their own test with Edge of Chaos, and I'm sure there's been a lot more. But these powerhouses, these individual companies that help realize and solve the problems of technology that is needed in order to realize an actual functioning metaverse should be something that we pay attention to, because it's what's going to make it stand out from the rest of the gaming community. If they don't, then we might as well just buy Black Ops 6 and go play, or go play X Defiant, or go play World of Warcraft, or go play some of these other Web 2, Path of Exile, and go play these games because they're working and people are playing them and they get millions of people to play them. But they're kind of within the same realm of things. And so this really helps us to be able to kind of stand out from the rest. So I'm hoping that they succeed. I believe they are, and they already have, or at least they've solved the majority of problems. But I'm excited to see how they become a lot less friction, more frictionless, and really helping advance the technology in the ways that we want. Wes Wilder, who all of you know, Wes Wilder's awesome. He's beloved by everybody. I don't know if I really need to say much about Wes Wilder. He definitely is a strong leader in the community. Really appreciate him. And he came out and he said alliances will have a huge impact on Wilder World. They'll be able to shape the landscape, economy, and many other aspects of day-to-day life in Miami. What, when, how, where certain buildings get erected, how the resources are mined, refined, produced, sold, and potentially the effect it'll have on gameplay, etc. Not sure if Wilders would want or be able to cause havoc, but the potential is there. And, I think this will come at a very timely moment, because of when devlog drops. We know that we're going to get a lot more information on the Rebellion, the first-person shooter, but we're also going to get a lot more information about land, mining, and the development of the economy, which will really speak to what West is speaking about here, that not only with the alliances that we're making, but the ability that our alliances will be able to do, as well as what we as community members be able to do, and what other alliances will be formed that way. Will there be other DAOs that are formed to focus on a certain aspect in Wilder World that will change the landscape? Will there be other companies that come in and they see potential and they change the landscape in certain ways? The potential of utilizing the tools that will be available to change the landscape is incredible to think about. And so I really like that Wes Wilder brought up this point of not only the alliances, but what the Wilders potentially will have the capability of doing. DAOs are obviously feel still a little centralized, and over time they'll become more decentralized, and they're really making that effort. But those DAOs, those different alliances, I think is that he brings up, not only in just company, but in groups of Wilders, what they will be able to do to change the aspect apart from the team, I think is something really exciting that will come down the line. And then this last one is to be left anonymous. A secret agent that shared some information with me that I will that I'm allowed to read, but will stay anonymous. They say, paying attention to how undervalued the token is and the extensive possibilities for in-game economy, as well as upcoming land, which will have resources tied to it. The ability to play to earn and put power into the hands of players, gamers, and citizens. Empowerment through the economies and building systems to enable true creative expression and ways to earn in world. And so here they really focus on the power of what the economy will really be able to provide for all wilders alike. We all have an opportunity at whatever different stage and whatever capacity that we have. I do believe that the wild token is undervalued. I believe that the MEOW token is undervalued, but I understand that value is only what we give something. And so right now, the team is working really hard to bring attention to. I think we all can agree that they're doing an incredible job with different community-led events, through different community team events, through spaces, through going to these different conferences and events all around the world, through speaking to the gaming community, to talking with influencers, to constantly bringing out fire with the devlogs. They're just keep stacking up an incredible team, an incredible product with a team, with a community that backs them. I just don't see how it's possible that in a equal economy opportunity like we saw in 2021, that Wilder World doesn't become validated through people believing and seeing the same thing at more of a mass quantity, more people coming in, more people investing, more people seeing what we all see and investing. You know, obviously, I don't know what's going to come. I personally am highly invested in these projects, but I also have a lot of patience that I know that it just takes time. And I know that the market conditions have to be right for like big moves that we all want to see. But I don't really focus too much on this. I focus more, what is the team doing? What improvements, what solutions are they providing? What's the quality of the product? And if we just keep putting forth the effort that we've been putting in, and you don't give up. The name of the game is don't quit. And so hopefully one of these individuals, I think it was XVS, he talked about the team being able to continue their runway and being able to keep doing it, because if they keep doing what they're doing, they cannot fail. They will succeed. And so Neo, I think, recently put out a tweet that spoke to this very fact that it is inevitable. They won't quit. Wilder World is coming. And so for me, hearing that confidence, like, that's what matters. That's really what's important. And I love hearing that from the team, because if they were wishy-washy, I would be scared. That they have belief, that they have passion, that they put in this hard work, and they also listen to the community, build in front of the community. I mean, it's incredible. And from what I heard from all the team at Gamescom, a lot of people that aren't in the space whatsoever, listening to the answers and the straightforward responses and the education that happened was incredibly encouraging to the team. So I'm really excited to see how we go forward. It sounds like there's a lot more of these events that they're going to go to, other conferences and stuff. It sounds like even Neo's going to be going to a few. So it's really exciting that they are just pushing hard, doing everything they can. I think the community should be incredibly proud of the efforts that the team is making. And I think they're extremely grateful for us as a community supporting them, not only monetarily, but also in word and effort and action. And so it's almost like we're locked arm in arm, doing the best that we each individually can do in the capacity that we have. So I think that's really awesome. Kind of coming to a close, the Devlog 11 hasn't come out yet, but it sounds like more information on land mechanics and the economy is in store for us, and more information on the Rebellion and first-person shooter, which I think is the two things that the vast majority of the community is excited about. I think we all need to be expecting something sneaky in there. I always find something that I wasn't expecting to be in the devlogs. So the Zines are always something I really look forward to. I don't mind them being as long as they are. I actually really enjoy reading through each of the different sections in the development. So be looking out for that. That should be coming out any moment now. And just an end, I just wanted to talk. There's a lot of people that could be making an effort. I am one of the top content creators for Wilder World, Meow Chain, and Zero. Not a lot of people are talking about us. I saw the opportunity. I wanted to take the time. And a lot of it is because of the things I've discussed today. I'm extremely passionate about the team. I'm extremely passionate about the community. I truly love this community. I want to help educate what Wilder World brings in all facets that it offers. And I want to create content because there is a potential monetary benefit later on down and whatnot, but because I saw an opportunity to share what I'm passionate about. It's more about the journey that I'm on, the different skill sets that I'm learning along the way, and the ability to improve a craft that I love, to be able to research and better understand the things that come out from the team, and to be able to be creative in a way that hopefully in time will come to a place that people only go and look for my stuff because it's the best out there. But I do try to bring my best for each one of you as well as for myself, because I can see the growth and development that it's brought me, and I just want to make you guys proud. I want to make the community and the team proud of the content and the creations I make. And I really appreciate every single one of you for coming out and taking the time to support me. So appreciate it. Next show will be in October. And if there's ever any questions that you guys have, please take the time to reach out to me. I love talking with all of you and getting to know each one of you. And thank you.